Welcome everyone. My name is John Owens and I'm the Programme Director for the Social Sciences degree, and we're really excited to talk to you today about this programme. It's a new programme which really is an invitation for students who really want to change the world and make a difference to develop expertise and knowledge in order to be able to do that. Natural question, why study social sciences? If you're the kind of student who does want to make a difference, if you do want to change the world, we think it's just really important that you understand the world in order to change it and to understand why you want to change the world and what you'd like to change it to. So we think that studying the social sciences programme here at King's can help you to do that, and give you those skills and expertise. So in particular, we provide all our students with rigorous research methods training in the social sciences, quantitative and qualitative research methods, so that you're able to go out into the world. But it's not just about rigorous scientific training for our students. It's also about the task of interpreting what the data that they come up with means. So as well as making our observations, we need to investigate questions about meaning and interpretation. We need to engage with prevailing discourses within our society, within politics, within culture, within the media more generally, so that we can really understand a set of questionnaire results or interview data, so we can actually understand what we mean and how we ought to think about particular observations. And not just interpret what this means, we ought to think about how we want to respond to that and how we should respond to that. Okay? If you want to change the world, it's not enough just to know what the world is like. You have to have a vision for what change ought to look like. And it's this ought, which we think is really distinctive about our programme. It's concerned with facts, but also with values and with action too. Okay, so we do sort of combine this attention to kind of rigorous scientific training with questions about interpretation and questions about how we move forward in the world and actually implement change. And we're really sensitive to the idea that moving from our observations, our theories, to changing the world itself is quite a difficult thing to do. Okay, so it's all very well for us to be sitting here in a university, in a lecture theatre, maybe discussing ideas or theories, but actually when you go out into the world and you want to change things, it's a completely different proposition. And it's quite a difficult thing to do, to move from theory to practice. So one of the themes that we will explore in the degree is the challenge of moving from theory to practice. And one of the ways that we will do that is by inviting guest lecturers and experts from external organisations and institutions in to teach with academics like myself, so that you can hear about practical challenges and the way people take the sorts of theories and concerns we have on the programme and actually enact that in real life. So this is a really important feature of the programme, the collaboration with external organisations and institutions. We also have a strong interdisciplinary approach to social sciences. So obviously we can think about the various social sciences that we might consider: sociology, anthropology, politics. There's elements of philosophy in there. And the reason that we think that all of these things are valuable and important for our students is because the real world isn't divided into disciplinary boxes. The sorts of problems that we might think are important, that we want to address. One can't simply become a sociologist and address issues to do with gender inequalities, because there are also political dimensions, there are also cultural dimensions, there are philosophical dimensions to these questions. So we think it really is important to have interdisciplinarity as a key feature of any practical outward-facing programme. So it's for the sake of this application that we really build in interdisciplinarity to our degree programme. So what are some of the issues that we might examine on the programme? Well, here are just a few examples of the kinds of social and political issues that we might embed in the teaching of our programme. Okay, so for example, why do so many UK citizens use food banks? If this is a pressing question to you, it's the kind of thing which we might embed in the teaching of our programme. And we'd really like to take a steer from our students to work out what the issues that matter to them are, and to try and embed that into our teaching, to create the curriculum for the programme with our students as we go. It might be that you're interested in gender relationships and the Me Too movement, or racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism. How should we respond to the European migration crisis, for example? What would a fair and just immigration system look like? So these are some of the examples of some of the social issues that you might be looking at. If you think about some of the theories and perspectives, the themes that we might explore, For example, we might be looking at inequality, injustice and fairness, questions about what a good society is, and we might do that thinking about applying those theories and perspectives to, for example, the Me Too movement. How can theories of social justice help us to think about gender relationships? Or we might think about freedom and opportunity and social mobility in schools and the ways in which our schools and students who attend our schools have equal opportunities to live valuable lives as they see it. So there's all sorts of ways in which we can take these social themes, these perspectives and models, and apply them to different issues which matter to us. And exploring questions about inequality and social difference is going to be a key thing for all of our modules. So I guess what I'm trying to convey here is that the program itself is oriented towards practical social and political issues. And what we see the program is of offering students is the chance to gain valuable tools, really, a toolbox of approaches, of methods, of perspectives, in order to understand social problems and to be able to engage with them and hopefully think about changing the world using these tools and perspectives. So you'll see some of the more kind of traditional academic virtues like critical thinking and argumentation, developed through things like essay writing. But also we want to encourage things like collaboration and communication. So can you work together? Can you communicate ideas in a range of ways? And this is reflected in our approach to assessment. We want to help students to develop practical skills which are going to be useful, not just in the degree itself, but in the kind of work that they'd like to do next, or in the kind of social projects that they might be committed to. So being able to obviously develop your research methods training in quantitative analysis or qualitative methods, having a good grasp of a range of different theories, but also these transferable skills which are going to be very important for really engaging with the world too. So I'll say a little bit now about the course structure. So the BA Social Sciences is a 3-year degree, taught full-time. First year, we have our students all taking a set of 4 core modules, so everyone takes the same 4 core modules in the first year. I'll say a little bit about them in just a second. But then from the second year and in the third year, students get to pick 2 pathways through the rest of the program. The first pathway is the Sociology and Social Policy pathway, which has its own distinct set of modules, which are bespoke to this pathway. And the second pathway is Children, Youth and Society. And again, the optional modules associated with that are more to do with the kinds of themes that you would expect with Children, Youth and Society. So to say a little bit about those core modules, those common required modules for all students. These first 4 modules here are the core modules in the first year. So understanding the social world, introduction to social theory, power inequality and social change, and social justice and policy analysis. So all of our first years will take those 4 modules in the first year. And then in the second year and third year go on to do research methods training and the dissertation project. The dissertation is an opportunity for students to pick an issue which really matters to them and to go into that in some detail with the support of the academic staff who are supervising them. To say a little bit then about the 2 pathways, the first one, Sociology and Social Policy. The optional modules linked to this include, and there are additional optional modules, but things like gender and sexual politics, race, ethnicity and society, culture, media and society, environmental policy, and then issues around education policy, healthcare policy as well. So there are a range of bespoke modules for this pathway, plus the opportunity to study option modules from across the faculty as well. So it may well be that if you've seen a module in war studies that you're really keen on studying, that you be able to do that as part of the second or third year optional modules that you're able to take. Again, children, youth and society. Here the optional modules will include things like global childhoods and youth, past and present, so more of a historical flavour to that module. Philosophical perspectives on childhood and youth, children, families and the state, so philosophical, political dimensions to study here, children in international development, and you'll see a range of different concerns, again, maybe around policy, around a range of different disciplines, but with youth and childhood in mind here. And again, the option of studying outside the faculty across the faculty is available for students on this pathway too. To say a little bit about the teaching methods that we have, the assessment methods that we have. When I say that this is a new program, we're really quite excited about this because starting from scratch allows us to really rethink the way that we think a degree program should work. We have at the heart of the program an idea that we want to co-create or co-produce the program with our students. We don't stick to traditional forms of essays or exam writing. In fact, we don't really use exams at all on the program. And where we use essays, we tend to balance this with more diverse forms of assessment. So things like writing a blog or writing a media article or recording a podcast or using joint oral presentations in order to demonstrate understanding and knowledge of the modules. And we think that this is not only more interesting for students, it's a better way of preparing them for engaging with those social issues beyond the university. So, if you want to go and work in a think tank or if you want to go and work at a charity, then having the opportunity to have written blogs to a high standard before when you get into your professional position or your internship or whatever it is, should stand you in very good stead to actually do a good job as soon as you arrive at these places. We have diverse members of teaching staff, not only academics, but also external experts coming in to teach on the program. It's unlikely to be in lecture theatres like this. It's much more likely that it will be smaller scale with the opportunity for a conversation. And using online learning as well, online discussion groups and online lectures so that we can come in and have seminars. And once you get into the classroom, if you've already watched my spiel, then we can actually have a conversation. So these sorts of things, as well as not just limiting the teaching to the universities. So we have partner organisations in Westminster, in the London policy world, on the South Bank, in the cultural institutions there, and we see not only people from those institutions coming into us, but taking our students out to those places too and visiting those institutions. So obviously we're very lucky to be studying here in the heart of London, so the teaching will take place not just in Bush House on this side of the river, but also in Waterloo over the bridge there, on the banks of the Thames there on the South Bank. It's a wonderful location and we're really lucky to have those associations with the kind of local institutions in London. One of the things that's wonderful about King's as well, and is available to all of our students, is the opportunity for students to study a language as part of the program. So I spoke to someone earlier on who's studying Japanese at the moment. If they decide in year 2 or year 3 that they want to carry on with their Japanese, they can study at the Modern Languages Centre. The credits they get will count towards their degree program here. So one of their option modules could be advanced level Japanese or something like that. And there's a wide range of languages to choose from, which I think is a very exciting and worthwhile addition to the program and adds greater flexibility if more were needed. You also have the opportunity of studying abroad, which I think is a very, very exciting thing to do. So we have partner universities in Australia, so the University of Sydney. We have the University of Hong Kong as a partner, the University of Auckland in New Zealand, the National University of Singapore, and we also have George Washington University in the States and the University of California as well. So these are the international destinations that we currently have. It's likely that we will add more destinations to this as well. I mean, King's has much broader affiliations than just the ones that we've listed here. But the idea would be that you have the chance for a semester in the second year, so the second semester of the second year, students will have the opportunity to go to one of these places and study in these universities. And so that might be something like January to April or May of your second year. You could go and study subjects related to the social sciences, but could deviate potentially from the social sciences as well at these institutions which we're paired with. And I'm really excited about potentially going with some of our students as well, so that's a nice thing. I should also say we have these wonderful partnerships with external organisations. One of the things which we're most excited about is the possibility of students taking a work placement, again, as part of the programme. So you can take an optional module as a work placement, go and work in Ipsos Mori or go and work in Parliament or for the Royal Festival Hall or somewhere like that. Gain really valuable insights into these organisations, into the world of work, and gain credits for your degree for that. There's also the opportunity, if people are less keen to actually leave the university and go and work outside it, there's the opportunity to study what we call social sciences at work, a sort of critical approach to understanding the labour market and to understanding employment in general. So it's not just things like writing a CV. We will help our students to do that, but we will get them to think critically about why we write CVs, what ought to be on them, which CVs tend to get picked up and which don't, and what kind of inequalities that creates. We might get them to be skeptical in their approach to thinking about internships in the first place, who gets them and who doesn't, and if they're paid or not paid? And if they're not paid, what does that mean for inequality across opportunities for young people? So engaging with work and engaging with employment, whether you actually go on a placement or whether you stay at King's and sort of develop your understanding of employment is a key part of the degree as well. I'm going to finish off by saying what I think for me is the most important thing about the program is that it's the opportunity to build networks which will lead to opportunities for our students to make a difference, to change the world, to go in and find a job or become part of a social organisation or a community group or something like that. King's is a wonderful place. It has a huge diverse array of students from all over the world and from right here in London. Students who hopefully will be your friends and peers and lifelong companions. You'll also get to know academic staff like myself and hopefully to join a research group as well. So I'm a researcher based at the Centre for Public Policy Research. The degree programme itself is closely affiliated with the Centre for Public Policy Research, and we would want our students to feel part of that research group. It may well be that we would find ways to help students to publish their dissertation or blogs or whatever online, so as part of the research group's output. So we really want you to be part of the network that we have here to develop your network to maybe international places abroad or to the employers' organisations or policy institutions or what have you. But really it's through this programme that we'll provide the tools, the perspectives and the networks and the opportunities which we really think are exciting for our students and will help people to make a difference. So that's pretty much it from me. There's more information, if you haven't seen it already, on our online prospectus webpage. My email address is here. I'll be the admissions tutor for the programme. So if you have any questions or you're thinking about applying or you want further information, please just send me an email and I'll do my best to be prompt in my reply to you.